Day one of the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama just ended. We just saw the national and American teams practice and saw some of the top seniors in the NFL draft do well. Some do better than others. Some kind of not impress us. So let's go over the winners and the losers from today's practices. We'll just get directly into it, starting with today's biggest winner, in my opinion, and that is the play of Oregon State tackle Talise Fuaga. He was amazing. He had to go against another projected top 20 pick in Laiatu. Latu had a good day on his own, but even then, he stonewalled him. He's my edge too. And Fuaga keeps improving that draft stock. In the recent Daniel Jeremiah mock draft, he was a top 10 draft pick. And if he keeps playing like this and he puts together a good combine, I can only imagine it stays that way. He was a menace in the run game during the run game install. And during the one-on-ones, I don't think he got beat at all, actually. And talking about another offensive tackle that did really well today was Oklahoma's Jalen Guyton. That's the Chargers receiver, Tyler Guyton. He was phenomenal outside of one rep against Houston's, I forget the first name. It might have been Nathan Caesar, but Caesar, I know that's his last name. He had a nasty smooth move on him. Everybody here who was watching the event was like, oh, that was gross. But outside of that, he was phenomenal, especially in the team install part. Very, very fluid. And he's only had 15 actual starts in college football. He's a young player, has all the athletic traits. Some team, he's going to be a first-round pick. It's just a matter of who's going to take him. Could he play right now? Maybe not. But as a projected starter in 1 or 2 years, he's your guy, that's for sure.
If we're going to be talking about offensive linemen, what about that JPJ guy, Dino?
Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon, my top center, has been for a very long time. It was just a matter, is he going to be a first-round pick? And I'd be very surprised if he was not at this point. He weighed in at 334 pounds and floats along the field. He was dominant in every rep he had today. Yeah, he's a guy. He's a guy. And centers don't usually go in the first round, unfortunately. He's a guy who will, at least in my opinion. Moving on to the offensive weaponry, talking about a guy, Ladd McConkey, someone I had pointed out.
Yes.
White boy of the month, white boy swag. No, but he's somebody I had highlighted in videos beforehand saying this could be a Tank Dell-esque kind of performance for him because of how good of a route runner, how fast he is. And he proved that today. Just diced everybody up in the one-on-one drills. Nobody could handle him. It was pretty gross. Had a great hands catch as well, diving towards the sideline. Now, he didn't do much during the team drills, but is that really his fault? No, the quarterbacks, which we'll get to, were quite iffy today. But you can't talk about great receivers that were playing today without talking about Roman Wilson. Someone who maybe I wasn't the highest on, comes out and absolutely dominates. You saw that speed that he showed off at Michigan, and maybe in that system wasn't really allowed to show off his route running repertoire. But in a situation where he can do that, he proved it. He was so much separation, so much separation. There was a play where, the corner didn't even come on screen. Like
he was unguardable. He was unguardable.
He was unguardable. The corner didn't even come on screen, and he reminds me of I want to say Jaden Reed from last year's Senior Bowl. Jaden Reed proved he could be a deep threat, and he ended up going in the second round to the Packers. And I think that's something we can see from Roman Wilson in this situation. Sticking more to the defensive side of the ball, sticking with the winners, of course, is T'Vondre Sweat. His how should I say this? His partner, Byron Murphy, who I have is the best defensive tackle in the draft, was supposed to be here today, but he ended up opting out. It was T'Vondre Sweat's time to put on a show, more of a run stopper, nose tackle type, put in these pass rushing situations. He's a strong dude. Kind of reminds you of that Dexter Lawrence type of thing where you're just getting pushed back into the quarterback. May not have a huge arsenal of moves, but when he's just bigger and stronger and faster than you, it doesn't matter all the time. And that's what we saw from T'Vondre Sweat today, especially during the, in the team installs. But yeah, speaking of another defensive tackle that I thought really showed out today was Duke's Dwayne Carter. He, especially during the team installs, a lot of run stopping, and during the one-on-ones, he had a nasty, which we'll put on the screen, just rolled over the Wisconsin center, just completely toppled over him. Very impressive outing from him and a guy like Hall from Baylor. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. Gabe Hall, that was his name. He also had a great day during the one-on-ones as well. Sticking with the defensive line, going back to Latu, while he did get stonewalled by Fuaga, had a really, really nice day as well. Showed off that deep arsenal of moves that he has, that bend that he possesses with that athleticism. And I know there's some medical concerns there, but if he's not a top 20 pick, I'm not really sure what to tell you. It's very evident that he is one of the top players in this entire class. And it's a shame we made it this far into it without mentioning him, because he was right next to Fuaga for having the best day.
I was just about to say.
Cornerback Quinion Mitchell, a projected first-round pick. Some thought he was borderline. He's not getting out of the first round. I hate to tell you,
He made
this
it look
guy.
too easy.
It was too easy. He looks faster than everybody. He knows what route you're running. He didn't allow a single catch in the one-on-one drills, a drill that is really designed in the favor of the offense, but didn't allow a single catch. Went to team, had a couple pass breakups. This is a real cornerback that is going to end up going a lot higher than some people might think. He might not make it out of the top 15. My linebacker one, Peyton Wilson, also shut out today. The linebacker from NC State, I apologize for that. He is 6'4", 230 pounds. Really showed off in the team drills. He was stuffing the run, was fast, got downhill quick. Didn't show a ton of pass coverage, but really didn't need to. And again, he's a guy can take very much a Jack Campbell trajectory, just a very big athletic linebacker that could rise very quickly in this year's draft. Somebody I thought didn't have a great day was Devontae Walker, someone who was just projected as a first-round pick in Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. You know, you see the speed with him, but the route running was a little lackluster, to say the least. It got pressed at the line of scrimmage. Did get open on one deep ball, but unfortunately the ball didn't get to him. You know, I just expected to see more for a guy who's getting first-round hype, and I just didn't quite see it with him. He's got a couple days to prove me wrong, but he's a loser for today, in my opinion. And losers as a whole, and it's usually that for the first day of practices in the Senior Bowl. The quarterbacks just didn't really impress me. Michael Penix Jr., like in particular, like the arm, you saw the velocity on his balls, but just wasn't very accurate today. I thought out of the quarterbacks, the one that probably looked the best were Michael Pratt and like Sam Hartman, I guess, or maybe Bo Nix. Like, none of them were particularly impressive, and especially Spencer Rattler had an awful pick in team drills today. One of those mental things that you're concerned about with him.
What were your thoughts on Brendan Rice today?
Brendan Rice, I liked him. You see his film and you're like, oh, there's not a lot of separation there, not much of a route runner, but the physicality is evident. He's a good blocker, and what he showed off today was the ability to fight through contact. Had a really nice hands catch on, I believe it was one of the Penn State corners, but I can't be for sure. But
from Bo Nix, yeah.
I thought he impressed it today. I thought he impressed today a lot. Someone I do want to mention will not get talked about a lot because he unfortunately didn't get him the ball, but Xavier Legette I thought he beat most of his reps, if not every single one of his reps going vertically. And the quarterback was just completely off.
There.
Not even close. Maybe more on the loser section, in my opinion, was Johnny Wilson. And it's simply because he's still listed as a wide receiver. Moved to tight end already. You're 6'7", 230. Like, it was evident on his very first route. He's just kind of too big for his own good, running some of these outside routes. He fell down, slipped and fell. And he looked good on the other routes. It's just there's not a lot of top-of-the-line speed. Use him as a red zone threat. Put him as your big slot tight end guy. I feel like he will go higher and he'll have a better time transitioning to the NFL if he's playing tight end. And on the other side, even while he had a decent day today, Jaheim Bell, you really saw that size difference between everybody else. He looked like a running back at tight end. 5'11", I believe he's listed at. I mean, for a tight end, that's ridiculous. And you have to wonder, is that somebody that can really succeed at the next level in that spot? Or are we going to have to move him to more of a fullback or slot receiver role? We're going to have to see. But when he was out there, I was like, oh, it's Trey Benson, the Florida State's running back. And I'm like, nope, that's not him. Wrong guy. My bad. Now, just remember, this is only day one of these practices. We still have 2 other days. Roman Wilson can go from having the best day to having the worst day tomorrow. You never know. People rise, people they fall. Quarterbacks are going to link with these receivers better as it goes along, because playing quarterback with a dude you don't know is hard. You don't know what they're running. So please make sure to like the video, to subscribe to the account. We are going to be covering every single practice of the Senior Bowl as well as the actual Senior Bowl itself. If you would like to join us into actually watching the Senior Bowl, we are going to be live on TikTok at DeanoTalksSports. Feel free to come on, ask any questions you want, talk the draft, talk NFL, talk ball. Feel free to leave a comment on this video asking about any of the players that participated today, asking about any rankings. Leave your own rankings, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope to see you for day 2 of winners and losers of the Senior Bowl.